Saturday. Christmas comes early.
Unbelievable! Welcome to this incredible scene.
Bills.
To the end zone!
Chargers.
It's a touchdown!
An exclusive NFL game.
That's fantastic!
Live in primetime.
Wow!
Only on Peacock.
With a Christmas gift to their fans.
They're having some fun now.
Bills versus Chargers. Saturday, 7:30 Eastern. Exclusively on Peacock.
Reboot your credit card with Apple Card, the credit card created by Apple. It gives you unlimited daily cash back that you can now choose to grow in a high-yield savings account that's built right into the Wallet app. Apply for Apple Card now in the Wallet app on iPhone and start growing your daily cash with savings today. Apple Card subject to credit approval. Savings is available to Apple Card owners subject to eligibility requirements. Savings accounts provided by Goldman Sachs Bank USA. Member FDIC. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Columbia Sportswear. It's snowing again, and that wind chill is killer. But you're not worried about that because you shop the Omni Heat Infinity Collection. It's warmth perfected with tiny gold dots that reflect your body heat inside and protect you from the cold outside. No snow or chilly temps can stop you now. Go out anyway. Shop the Omni Heat Infinity Collection now at Columbia.com/infinity.
The holidays are a time to feel and create joy. And what could be more joyous than the look on her face as she unwraps a stunning new jewelry piece from Blue Nile? How about getting 50% off your purchase? Blue Nile offers premium quality, priced below traditional retail. Their online experts are available 24/7 to answer any questions and make sure you've picked the perfect gift. For a limited time, you can get 50% off at BlueNile.com. That's 50% off at BlueNile.com.
Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another episode of the Shades of Blue Soccer Show. We are the KC Soccer Journal. My name is Cody Bradley. Thad Bell and Robert Russert are here. Boys, we have done it. They did it. They're in the playoffs. It is official. Vermes had all the words for the doubters. We'll talk about all of that. We've got San Jose on Wednesday. But let's just talk about the game to get us going here. Thad, how are you feeling after this?
A lot better than I was a couple days ago.
All right, your name in the chat is Thad Playoffs. Enough said. I'm gonna need a little more from you because we're doing a podcast, but I like the sentiment.
Well, that was just a little title there. That wasn't like the entire sentiment there, Cody. Although I have been accused too many times of having just too few words to say. I am happy they made it. It was a relief. I hate watching live standings, but I was doing it last night, damn it.
Yes.
And I after the start of the season, I'm happy that they at least made the playoffs, so we have some success this season.
Okay. A little timid for my liking. Robert, get the energy up here. Help me out.
Hey, it's not like a few weeks ago in our Slack, I had made a post, just working out the math and saying it ain't going to happen. And now it has. So, that didn't happen. But
one of the
last
doubters
night, there was like no doubt where that game was going to go. Once we got things rolling, it just seemed to be a foregone conclusion. And I like the way we played it out. And I like the way we finished it. And let's go forward. There's only glory to go, right?
Yeah, and what you said there is a big point for me about that game. It never seemed like it was in doubt. Right from the start, they were all over them. And how rare is it that this team ever does that? This is the team that never is capable of doing that. Anytime they play a bad team, they're going to let that team hang around by one goal or hit the post or make it close or not be able to get the winner. And that was a different team out there right from the start. They asserted dominance, Thad.
Did you not have some little bit of doubt, though, when Minnesota scored? Like a little bit of like fear treading in, like, oh, it's the 80th minute. They're going to give up 2 goals. Rosaro's going to head one in on his own.
Fair point, because I normally do. But no, I didn't. I was feeling good. I was a little drunk, so that might have helped. Wasn't in the press box. I was on the Bud Light party porch with free drinks and food all game, amongst friends, screaming and yelling. It was right where I wanted to be. So no, I was feeling too good at that moment when that third goal went in. Although Kyrie, my God, Kyrie. Guys, go watch that replay. I feel bad for him. Genuinely, I feel bad for the guy. He looked so bad. It was embarrassing. Oh,
I
my
know
God.
the moment you're speaking of, but what I liked is we never stopped attacking.
Right.
Even when they scored, we kept pushing the ball forward.
So JFR got the brace. That was my favorite part of the night, was him coming into the Cauldron after the game and doing his speech there and the JFR chants and all of that. But it was that was such a beautiful game from Johnny. Both goals were nice. After he scored that first one, the reaction of the Minnesota players is so funny to me. It was just such a simple, patented Johnny Russell goal that all week, like you could just see it on the faces of the players, and their reaction was, guys, we were working on this all week. That is the exact thing that we prepared for, and you just let it happen. And it was honestly like the least impressive of those Johnny tears into the box. Like, it was just one cut and then the shot. He didn't have to really go through anyone, no nutmegs or anything. It was just such a simple, beautiful goal.
And if you saw St. Clair, he went right off his line, going right at the defender. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. And the guy that was defending him just turned around. All he could do was turn around and yell at someone. Why didn't you come up and block? Oh,
it's not my fault. It's your fault.
Right. There was just arms going up everywhere, synchronized reactions of hands in the air. Oh, it was beautiful.
Then, that second goal, just boom, 3 minutes later, Remy making his run straight down the gut. I mean, they were feeling it and they were going for it.
And well done by Remy. That was not an easy finish, made that look easier than I think it was. But Thad, again, I'm going to say this, and I know we should just be happy that they won and all of this, and I don't need to pick apart anything. But why was it Remy Voltaire and not our number 9? Our number 9 was over at the corner of the box. And he's always like that. Why is our number 9 never the one right there in the middle of the box?
You want the really cynical opinion?
Yeah.
He got his big contract.
Oh, see, that's not fair. I wanted to pick on him a little bit, but no, I don't.
Has he scored since he got that contract?
No, he has not.
No.
Well,
he got it.
All right. David and I here are thinking the same thing, because David says in the chat, Polito creates space for everyone else. And yes, I rewatched this morning. There's 3 or maybe even 4 guys who follow Polito to the near post.
Yeah.
And make that possible. So,
no, he does create space for everyone else. He gets involved in the midfield and all of that. But there is just some of these times I'm like, why is our striker not in the middle of the box? And it drives me a little crazy.
No, and David is right. That is a thing that he does, and that is part of what the benefit he does for everybody else. I still would like to see him put in a goal every other game, no matter what else he's doing for other people.
And that's all. It's part of why Vermes likes him so much, because he goes and does all of that other work.
Yeah, he's not totally selfish and all that stuff. So it's good.
On the commentary last night, Miola stated at one point, maybe Polito should be up front a little bit more. I was nodding my head.
Yeah, agreed on that one.
Of course, you can't argue with success.
Right, but then that's what I was just about to say. But then he hasn't had the success. The team is winning for sure. That's going well. But like you just said, he hasn't scored since he signed a new contract.
Well, I mean, you can't argue with success in the fact that the team is winning. So that's my point.
Yep.
Right.
So even though I was being, overly cynical, sarcastic, and mean earlier, I do defend what he's doing at the moment.
Robert, who else did you like on the field last night?
I tell you what, and I've mentioned this, I think the last 2 pods maybe, but in Denbei, just his attacking presence has really stepped up these last month. So yeah, he continues to do that.
Yeah, I liked Logan a lot in this one. I think David wanted to mention Eric Tommy, who was doing his normal absolutely everywhere, all over the field. Thad, what did you think of Eric Tommy last night?
It's a really good description that he was everywhere. I mean, didn't he have a movie Everywhere All at Once or something like that?
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
That should be Eric Tommy's biography at this point.
A little long for a nickname, but yes, good point. You know who else I liked was Daniel Shallowy.
Yes.
Had the 1 assist, nearly had another with a very clever little flick to Tommy. That was a great save by Sinclair, by the way. Got to give credit to the keepers where that's due. Good save by him. But
You,
no,
you credit opposing keepers, but not our own keepers. That's your MO, man.
No, I credit good keeper saves and skills, and that was one of them. Although this brings me an opportunity to tell how bad he was on Johnny's second goal, the third goal of that game. Johnny was in that position because he was on the ground, wanting a foul call, and so he was in an advantageous position, hopped up, and was just right there to block it. But I don't know what Sinclair was doing on the attempt to save it. He jumps really high in the air for a ball that is right at the goal line. Like I've never seen a keeper do that. What was he doing, Thad?
He's seen Sporting players shoot before, so he expected it to go really high.
So he was trying to prevent it from going over the crossbar and into the south stand.
Yeah, he needed to catch it to start a counter. That's what it was. I don't know, man. I kind of wondered the same thing, but keepers are often taught to do things that I don't totally agree with, but
yes.
Yeah, I don't think that was a moment where he was taught to do that.
No,
I think Sinclair just lost it last night because Sporting's pressure was so immense.
It was another great reaction from the opposing team after that goal because the guy, yes, Sinclair should have done much better with that, or I don't know what he was doing there. But the guy who kicked it into Johnny Russell, who gave the ball away, instantly turned around and put his hands in the air at Sinclair. What are you doing there, man? Oh, just so tasty.
Yeah. But hey, just want to make a note. Cody, you said earlier, Shell, we got 1 assist. You got 2 assists on the night, actually. You got the assist on Johnny's opener. So
that's right. I forgot it was such an individual effort there from Johnny. I forgot about that one.
I think we often give the defense a lot of crap, and deservedly so at sometimes. So I will say I think they all played pretty well. So yeah. I mean, I don't want to single out people, but Jake was doing his hauling ass and busting things and making his runs. Logan made some good runs. Rosero made I don't know how many good comebacks to stop things. Yeah. Fontes played really well. I saw several where they just stepped up and intercepted passes between Fontes and Rosero. So I think they all played pretty well, so we should give credit where that's due too. They've taken enough crap all season. They should get a little credit.
Very true. And it was far from perfect. Jake, you mentioned Jake Davis. He had a really bad giveaway that led to, and then he had to foul in a tough spot and got a card for it. Eric Tommy had another one that should have led to a goal in a dangerous spot. So while it was a dominant performance, it wasn't perfect. We still did see some of the mistakes we've seen from them. But what a night.
I think we got sort of lucky in a sense too, though, the way that Minnesota played. They played in a 4-3-2-1, which more defensive than their 4-2-3-1 they've been playing, and I think that was a mistake on their part.
Clearly.
It energizes a team if you say, hey, we're going to go out, we're going to go in this field, even though we're away, we're going to attack. That energizes a team. Sitting back, doesn't have the same effect in my mind as a coach, as a tactical type person. So I think that was a mistake on Minnesota's part. But.
Yeah, and all that it led to, until their goal, their best chance they had was just kind of a pathetic effort from Pukki, who just turned and fired a shot, and it was very easy for Melia. But they just had not a lot going forward at all. As David in the chat says, that they locked down Reynoso and Pukki, who we talked about last week. There are some very good players on that team that they shut down pretty well, except for that one goal that they scored. Again, I'm sorry, Kyrie, that was so bad. Oh, my God, that was so bad.
And then Elwane didn't come in till late, which, again, I think it was a mistake. They should have started him and gone for it.
But all right, the doubters were proved wrong. We're going to move along and talk about Vermes' comments after the game. So Vermes got the mic on the field to address the stadium right after that final whistle and gave his spiel there. He went over into the Cauldron with Johnny Russell and gave his spiel about the doubters and maybe those people aren't at this game and pumping people up to come to the next one. I don't know. Is there anything wrong, Thad, with the making the playoffs and throwing it to your doubters? Is it a bad look from Vermes?
I don't think it's a bad look. I think it's a little bit defensive, but it's I think if I was him, I would probably have said much more pointed and more profane answers at that point, quite honestly. he has been catching flack all season. The team's not going to make it. The team's terrible. He needs to be fired. Vermes out. I mean, we saw that. We saw signs in the stadium for Vermes out and things like that. And he has maintained consistently throughout the whole time to, have faith. We have the roster to do it, etc. Now, I mean, I don't think we should be like jumping up and down, celebrating, squeaking into the playoffs.
Right.
But from where they started to where they are now, that is a pretty good result and accomplishment considering that. If you take the whole season, not a great, but if you just look at the aspect of coming back from how bad of a start, that's good. And I don't blame him for being, hey, you guys all doubted me. Take it.
And in that moment, of course you're going to be showing that emotion.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about, if we're happy about making 8th seed in the playoffs, well, in that moment, that's the moment where you do celebrate it. The guys on the field fought and they did it. They accomplished that goal that they had set for the last month or whatever it was. And yeah, there's no way. Of course they're going to be happy. I would have been very upset if Vermes got up there and was just like, well, it was a bad season, so we're not very happy about this. Like, it's in that moment, that's when you celebrate. There were warriors colliding on the field. They beat the other team. It's a win, and it was fun, and emotions were flying. So actually, let's listen to a soundbite from Vermes. This is from the press conference.
For those that doubted the quality in our team, I'm sure a lot of them weren't here tonight. Okay, the fact that our team was able to, so we played 34 games in the regular season. That's 68 halves, and there is only one half out of the 68 that I can say that I was a little concerned about. Is the team committed? Is it losing faith? Whatever. And they came out in the second half of that game, and it was amazing the turnaround. And so for the fact that they were able to be committed, focused, they had pride, they worked, all that to put us into a position where in the last game of the season we had a chance to still make the playoffs is truly a testament to them, to their belief, and how competitive they are. What I would also say is that I appreciate the fact that our ownership group had faith in the staff, because it's very easy at times in our profession when you don't get results to lose confidence, to lose faith. I mean, just as easy as a player can lose confidence because he's not playing well, so can everybody else, and they can lose faith in it. But obviously they had questions. I had answers. We had great conversations, and I think it ultimately led to where we sit today. And so I appreciate that. But that's one of the reasons why I've been here so long, and I've chosen to stay here.
They had questions. I had answers.
I think you need to save that clip right there.
They had questions. I had answers. So honestly, good. That was good stuff from him there at the end, talking about the ownership and all of that. But I hear that, and the first thing I think of is what game was he talking about there that he thought they quit?
I am asking that the next press availability, like which one was that?
We need to figure this out. It's a game where they obviously came back and did something in the second half. So that'll cut some of that down. Although they were kind of a second half team, weren't they?
They were a half team, I think. It was
yes.
Sometimes it was the first half, sometimes it was the second half, but I don't think it was ever. That was one of the few games where it was like the complete game. They were good.
So guys, people who call themselves fans, people who are analytical about these things, they have long memories, and some people looking back could say, okay, a couple of years ago, we had a chance to do this and didn't. Last year didn't make the playoffs. Things weren't good. The beginning of the season was horrible. It never should have been that bad at all. There are people out there who can look at what Peter said last night in various ways, various locations. He was in the members club. He was, on Apple TV. He was in the press room saying a lot of the same stuff that we heard, and we're going to hear more, I think, Cody. But some people are going to look at that and say, hey, this guy just, thinks a lot of himself. He wants only people around him who agree with him and are going to go the way he wants to go. And then they're going to say, well, so we're happy about making the playoffs after starting the year this crappy, and we're making the wild card game, and we had to depend on other teams' results. We shouldn't be happy with this.
Well, I think the point about it not being a good look, or this what you just said about maybe he's thinks a lot of himself and all of that. I think it is the norm. It is standard in sports that after a team does a thing, whatever it is, make the playoffs, win the title, whatever it is standard that they throw it to their haters. They go right to their doubters. But what is unique about this situation is that the doubters were coming from inside the house. And so I don't think there's anything weird about a guy who just accomplished a thing to be like, hey, screw my doubters, and to be very emotional about it and to have a chip on his shoulder about it. I think that's quite a normal thing, but it's just the added dynamic that the doubters were the fans in his stadium that he had to hear chant Vermes out in the middle of the season at one point. I have no problem with it. And honestly, if you are one of the doubters, one of the haters that he was talking to, wouldn't you, if you're a fan of the team, wouldn't you want him? Like, okay, you like the team, you don't think he's doing things the way they should be done. Wouldn't you want him to have that chip on his shoulder to prove you wrong? Like, so I don't know. I think that this is all quite normal. We know Vermes is a competitor till the day he dies, and this is all just very normal for me. I don't think that there's anything weird about it. I think I don't know what else I could have expected besides, like, from all the shit that he took and listening to his own fans chant Vermes out. I don't know what else he gets up there and says besides, like, hey, screw the haters.
Well, I think it's, happy in the moment. Yeah, we've accomplished this. We've done a very admirable thing coming back from how we started. I don't think they're happy that they squeaked into the wild card game.
Right.
I think it's a momentary happiness. Right. But, if the season would end right with losing to San Jose Wednesday night, they're not going to be happy with that.
Right.
No. But everything...
Wow.
I think we just get caught up in those moments. Sorry.
Go on.
You're laughing at me, Cody, which is fine. They should be happy for making the playoffs from where they came from. And no, they should not be happy if they lose to San Jose. They should not be happy if they lose the next round. That's just, again, that's sports. That's being in the playoffs. You're never happy when you lose. The only happy people are the ones who go to the final and win.
So, well, what I mean is more like, okay, was it a successful season? They're not going to look at this season and say it was successful as a whole. Yeah, part of it, sure. But as a whole, they're, reality based enough in their lives to understand that this has not been a successful season. That's not the way we drew it up.
I think Peter's reality enough to know that. Players are, enough based in reality that they will know that. Certainly the fans will know that. And yeah, you have to look at the overall thing from 2019 through 2023 of having some bad seasons, and they need to do better. So I don't know. You have to say, are they on the right track to be better next year? We thought that last season, but I mean, we'll talk about that in the offseason plenty, I'm sure.
Well, technically they did do better this year because they did sneak into the playoffs this time. But
But also, what's the word that Peter repeated many times in that clip that we played? Team, right?
Right.
Believed in the team as a unit, the owners supporting, what they were doing, and that's what Peter's about. He's about the organization as a whole, sticking together through whatever may come.
And Robert, you asked him a good follow-up question on the line of doubt. So let's listen to that one.
Did you ever doubt yourself along the road this season?
No. It's not like I woke up and I forgot how to coach. I mean,
right, yeah.
That was not the idea. I mean, look, I said it from day one. You guys could go back and review. I said, I know we have a great roster. I know when our guys get healthy and when those guys get on the field, we're gonna start winning and we're gonna start showing people that we can play. And I think you could miss everything from you could see the whatever the first 11 games, and you can just come watch this game. We're a team that can play, and we're really hard to play against, and we've always been that way, and we'll continue to be that way.
Yeah, that's a guy just taking his victory lap. As he said in that clip, he he told everyone the whole time, as mad as everyone was, while people were screaming Vermes out, he was saying that this team had talent, and then when people came back, things would start clicking, and it did. One of the best teams, 1.71 points per game since after those first 10 games. So,
you know, when you're driving home after this stuff and you start to reflect,
I did not drive home.
I kicked myself a little bit. Well, good for your safety. And said, you know, I should have asked him, did you ever doubt yourself as manager or sporting director during this? That's what I should have asked.
You know, one thing about
David
Vermes. Yes, David in the chat is now David
IRL.
Only on voice chat. But one thing about his comments, you know, it's weird to hear somebody criticize their own fans, but these guys have to find motivation wherever they can get it. And it's not like you've got the league talking smack on Vermes. It's that his fans were. And so the players need to coalesce around something. The coaching staff needs to get together and find motivation around something. You know, it was Kobe Bryant always and Michael Jordan always finding any little slight as a way to push themselves forward. So for Vermes to hear people chanting for him to be out, for Kyrie to hear himself getting booed onto the pitch by his own fans, those little things are your motivators. And if it helps propel you forward to say, you know, screw you guys, even if it's the fans, so be it, if that's what helps propel you to success.
And call me
and coalesce. That was impressive, David.
The lawyer word there. Well done. All right. Any final thoughts on the doubters before we move along to the Wednesday San Jose game? I guess I'll wrap it up. I'll wrap up that conversation. You can call me a Vermes apologist for it, but that is the reaction I wanted from my coach, the coach of my team, not just Vermes. Like that's exactly what I would want from the coach of my team that has had the season that they just had. And yeah, I think it's just the weird example that the doubters that he's talking about are our own fans. But everything he did is exactly what I would want. I like that he has a chip on his shoulder. I love that he's the utmost competitor. And yeah, I think everything is on the right path right now. At least we have to be the team in the playoffs that nobody wants to play, right, Thad?
Yeah, I mean, they've got a really good record coming into the last part of the season. I was looking at earlier, the last 13 games, they are 7 wins, 2 draws, and 3 losses.
Yeah, they won 2 out of every 3 games over the last
12 games, but
yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but that's okay.
Yeah,
math is hard.
2 out of 3 wins over that period of time is quite impressive. And that's what's so weird is the losses they did have were so insanely frustrating. I think that's why this run up hasn't felt like we're talking. They were the best team in the West with 1.71 points for a really long time, but it never really felt like that. Did it feel they were the best team in the West? Because no, it really didn't. Like they still have those, you know, we talk about it a lot where they look good until they don't, and it's just those one moments. And yeah, I don't know. There were games that over the course where they were playing so well, and then like the Miami game, then they dropped the one in Miami. There was ref questions there. Then you got the St. Louis game, and I don't know. It is a confusing team. So I guess there's still the question of which one of them will show up, but everything is heading in the right direction right now.
But the one that stands out to me is the loss at home to Nashville. That was certainly fit what you're describing, Cody.
They almost lost me on that one. I was so disappointed in the team. That one hurt really bad.
That was a bad game. 3-0. Yeah.
That was when it was like, okay, I feel like they don't even deserve it. Like they just don't deserve it at this point.
Yeah.
You're definitely a high and low guy, aren't you?
I am.
That's
I like to think I'm fairly level-headed. Just after that 3-0, I think that's why it dragged me down, because I was level-headed all year long. I was, you know, supporting this ship. I could see that they were playing better. I was feeling like they're going to make the playoffs, and then they get spanked 3-0 at home. That's why it tore me down so much.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But yeah, even in that run where they've gotten a lot of good results points-wise, they've not looked like just a dominant team most of the time. They haven't looked like a a Cincinnati or, a team that's going to go on a supporter shield run. They look like a team that would be like third in the supporter shield running, but not that great,
And
maybe.
I think if two of those losses were not getting absolutely hammered by our rivals, I think it might not feel like that. Like we might feel like they were doing better, but the getting embarrassed by the rivals twice, that one really sucked.
I love how Thad was talking about, they haven't looked dominant like Cincinnati, and then he didn't say it. He didn't say that word of that team.
Yes.
But how nice was it to watch that team lose to Seattle last night?
I didn't watch it, of course, but I was scoreboard watching.
Well, okay, see the score. Yes.
Nice. Not that we like watching Seattle win either, but
talk about rooting for an asteroid strike.
Yeah.
the SMOD, Space Meteor of Death. Yeah, I was actually looking at kind of counting back the 13 games like I was doing with Sporting, and St. Louis was there are 5 wins, 3 draws, and 5 losses in their last 13. So they're not as dominant as they were early. Maybe all that running got them tired.
Maybe something we can hang our hat on there, but we also kind of said that the last time they were going into St. Louis, like, oh, we're playing good, they're playing bad. This should go great, and then
we got to beat San Jose first. Come on now. And hey, I had to look at this twice because I was like, well, that can't be right. San Jose has had 1-1 draws in their last 4 matches.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's move along to the San Jose game. Last segment here. Wednesday night at 8:30. Thad, why are they kicking off at 8:30? Can you do something about this? Can you message Garber and get this fixed?
Yeah, I'll text him, man. I got his personal number. Yeah, that'll work.
I get it for decision day and the syncing up with other games and all of that, but 8:30 on a Wednesday. Come on, MLS.
Yeah, but isn't the East Coast game going at 6:30 or something?
Right.
Ugh.
So they're not having them at simultaneous because they don't need to be, so they can maximize the Apple TV viewing.
So Robert, you got us started with their form of the 1-1 draws. What else can you give us about San Jose?
Just Peter focused last night on how they are a very athletic team, very strong counter-attacking team. So he's certainly wary of that. But last time we played him, it was 3-0 us.
Yeah, we beat them 3-0, but they beat us 3-0 earlier in the year, right?
Yeah, but that was when,
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Dark days. That was in the dark days.
And that was on the road.
Yeah.
So I would say our chances against San Jose is pretty good. I mean, obviously there's no give-me's at this point, but...
Is that just us? This is what we did last week about San Jose, that we were just like, San Jose's always bad. They're the team that we're looking for that's going to drop the points and help us get into the playoffs. So is that why you're saying that, or do you actually think we are going to beat them? Or is this just, in our heads, San Jose is not good at soccer because they're not allowed to be?
Well, you can't say anybody who's in the 8th or 9th spot to actually say they're good at soccer. But again, looking at the last 10, 12, 13 games of run, right? Robert mentioned they have 4 straight draws, but in the just going back, they have the 4 straight draws, a loss, a win, 2 draws, 2 losses. They haven't been good in their last couple of weeks. That's why I thought they would be the team to not be good.
It's all setting up nicely. What about, I actually forgot to mention this earlier during that discussion. Were you guys surprised by the crowd? Oh, sorry. What do you got, Thad?
Oh, I was just saying, I think I was also the one that thought Portland would lose too, and everybody said I was wrong.
Okay.
So I got that one right too.
Here are your flowers for that take. Well done.
Robert's shaking his head no.
No.
Yeah, I heard plenty of people saying that Houston could take care of them, and
yeah, Houston was the team that was playing well. So,
except they only had 3 wins on the road.
Yeah.
So that crowd last night, were you guys surprised by how good of a crowd it was? I don't know. I just, in my head, the fan base is cynical. So I was pleased with the atmosphere last night.
Yeah, it was good. I think it could have been a little bit louder, and I could hear the Minnesota fans too well, but I was kind of near them, so.
But people came out for the game. I guess I was just thinking that everybody was like, "Oh, we don't deserve it. We're not good. We're not going to make it." And but yeah, people were out there. I liked it.
Well,
The
what
true
did
test
Peter
will be
say?
Wednesday.
That those ones who doubted weren't here, probably weren't here tonight. So yeah,
I saw some of those doubters on Twitter, like acknowledging that they got cooked, like specifically them, that he called them out and they weren't at the game. So they kind of ate that one.
Oh, good for them. At least they acknowledged it.
Right. No, I do hope the stadium is packed on Wednesday. Home playoff game would have been an unimaginable thing several months ago. And I don't know, is it wrong to call it a home playoff game? Is it technically a wild card game? Wild card is the playoffs, though.
Don't easy, champ. Don't frustrate PR.
Why would a wild card game not be playoffs? I mean, that's postseason play.
I don't know. I think that's just what other teams, and when you're not in the playoffs, you're just supposed to hate on what the wild card is. But it's legit.
I don't know. Were they calling it a play-in game at one point, though?
I think they did away with the play-in verbiage because the whole point of all of these leagues adding more teams to the postseason is to get people excited. And if you're referring to it as a play-in game, that is much less exciting than wild card first round of the playoffs.
Yeah. These are the wild card teams. They could go all the way, even though they've sucked most of the season.
Hey, the Royals did it. Didn't the Royals win as a wild card? No, I guess they were not a wild card that year. Never mind.
Speaking of the Royals, did you see the shirtless George Brett picture?
Yes. Did you see how I shoehorned in the Royals there? George Brett. I don't know what they call. Is that the Legends Suite? I don't actually know what they call that. It's one tier above the Shield Club. It's like up there above the Legends wall. That is where George Brett, Kansas City Royal legend, was, and whipped his shirt off like the George Brett we know him to be. Glorious picture. I love that.
I had not heard about that. Interesting.
Illig tweeted it out. It's because it was in the, like, again, it's like where the presidents sit. Like that's where the president would sit if he came to watch a Sporting Kansas City game. And George Brett was up there drunk and whipping his shirt around.
Hey, at least he got into the game, I guess. Yeah. Or he got very drunk, one or the other.
Well, hey, did you guys see the two former Sporting player updates? Kai Kamara is leaving Chicago, and he says he will play at MLS next year for his, 400th team?
Yes.
And then Diego Rubio says he's leaving the Rapids. I don't know where he's going, but yeah.
So is that just contract up, or he's just not happy about Colorado?
We just got messaged in Twitter that he's announced he's leaving, so
yeah,
I don't know the context. Yeah.
I did not see Kai saying goodbye, but I saw Diego saying goodbye. So,
man, someone's gonna pay Kai Kamara to come play on their team still. How old is he at this point?
39, I think.
Jeez,
he's up there. But hey, he still knocks in some goals, right?
He does.
5 goals, 2 assists this year, in 1,500 minutes.
Man, he got in 5 goals this year. I would not have given him that at the beginning of the season.
Well, passed up LD, right?
Did he? Because I thought he was close, but I didn't know that he did.
He's third behind Wando and LD.
Oh, okay. Still third. Okay.
But I mean, he's close. He just...
Yeah, he is.
Do you have the numbers off the top of your head there, David?
No, I just read the article earlier today, but they didn't have Kai's goal tally. They only had Landon and Wando. He's nowhere close to Wando.
Right.
I believe Kai is 1 behind. I'm going to check it, though.
Yeah, that's, I think, the last.
I remember him being 1 behind earlier behind Landon, but I never saw him catch him or pass him. So
that's why he's coming back. That's why he says he's coming back. He needs that 1 more goal.
Hope so. I mean, I would like to see him do it. And it just, I like Kai. I mean, I don't necessarily want to have him back to Sporting.
Right.
Actually, I wouldn't mind having him back to Sporting in a lot of ways but he would have to definitely know his role.
This was the one locker room in all of the locker rooms where he was a good locker room guy. Like, it seems like in many of those other locker rooms there were complications and all of that.
Which Kai is actually...
He's 1 behind. That's right.
Okay.
Cool. I think Kai is actually a really good guy. It's just that he is very outspoken when he feels things. So he doesn't keep it in. He doesn't keep it within the locker room all the time. So he's done that with Sierra Leone, called them out for not treating their players right, not doing the right things with coaches and things like that. And he's been very vocal about that sort of thing. and he's been sometimes very vocal about that within MLS teams. I don't necessarily say he's always right, but I kind of feel that that's where his issues are as much as anything.
So bringing it back to the San Jose game, we can wrap it up here. But Thad, what did you think? We talked about the lineup. What would the lineup be? And the midfield was kind of the only question. Are you trotting out that same midfield with Radoja out there?
Yes. I would put out the exact same lineup as long as Johnny and Allen are healthy enough. You got to remember, they didn't practice all of last week.
Right.
Johnny did a very limited practice on Friday. I think Allen was probably the same. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just guessing on that. But Johnny said he did a very limited practice on Friday. But other than that, neither one of them had practiced all week. They had sat and watched. So for Johnny to come in and I think we got to sing Johnny's praises for having been out and come in, and I won't say carry the team on his back, but when you score the 2 goals for a win for the playoffs, we can say that. So
that first goal, that is putting the team on your back. He was putting the backpack on his back, and it was the team. That's what that first goal was. So yes, Johnny, that's our guy. What a legend. Johnny's my favorite player on this team. Have I ever said that out loud? Johnny's my favorite.
Johnny favorite Russell.
That was not funny. I don't know why I laughed at that.
It's a dad joke.
That was a dad joke right there. All right. Any final thoughts here before we wrap up and get ready for San Jose on Wednesday?
I'll be there.
I have not decided that yet.
What?
Well, someone else is doing the recap, so maybe I go as a fan again because it worked out really well.
There you go.
So maybe
Did somebody already take the recap for that?
Yeah, someone called dibs very quickly, like last night.
David did, yes. He is hot after that recap.
Yeah.
David, what's your record with recaps?
In person, 2-0.
Okay.
Or no, sorry. I'm 2-0 when I sit in the press box. My record with recaps, I don't recall, other than sometimes they get unnecessarily snarky. Like Robert writes beautiful prose and writes like a true journalist, and I oftentimes just have really bitchy things to say.
Yes.
Hey, it reflects our personalities. I write very limited things and with lots of tweets, and Robert writes prose, and you are a snarky bitch. That's pretty much it.
I still remember David pissed off all of Seattle with Sporting got beat really bad by Seattle, and his headline, I don't remember what it was, but it was pretty ridiculous.
I was talking about the turf.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and just the headline, not like the point of the article. In the headline, you blamed the turf. I love that. It was not a good article for that headline, but one of our most clicked on things, because that's just the way the world works. You pissed off Seattle, and it did well for us. All right, David, you didn't get in here a lot. You want to end us on being excited about San Jose? How are you feeling about this?
I think it'll be a good matchup. San Jose is a lot like Minnesota in that they've got some very good players, but they don't have good players all over the field. And Sporting's ability to shut down Reynoso and Pukki makes me optimistic that we can shut down Espinoza and Cade Cowell. And so I think Sporting's going to come out and win, and then we get to play St. Louis again. We're going to wax that ass. Go Sporting.
Sporting!
Has just been sent off. Some punter strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.